Hey guys, Anime Night here. Hope all you're doing well. Xbox doubles down on DEI agenda following Sweet Baby Inc. backlash. The Game Developers Conference GDC has now come to a close, but many of the topics that were discussed there remain a mystery. We already know it's not a mystery right now. We already know what's been discussed and everything. Just look at the bragging of Kim Belair and a few others, um, following the right. Following right on the heels of the Sweet Baby Inc. backlash, the GDC could have been scheduled at a more inopportune time for DEI activists in the game industry. That's correct. That's what these people are. They are not devs, they are activists. While much of the conference still revolved around seminar discussion, gender identity, and inclusivity, I can't even say that properly. Damn it! Ugh. Many of the presenters have managed to avoid any further controversy following the Xbox head of gaming for everyone and sustainability. Caddy Joe Wright, that was not the case. In an interview at the GDC with Game Industry, the Xbox DEI hall monitor would explain her thought process regarding controversial topics such as representation and inclusion, much akin to the ideological beliefs that consultation companies like Sweet Baby Inc. have employed. While much of this interview was draped in broader concepts of globalization and accessibility, the Xbox executive did her best to avoid the topic of Sweet Baby Inc. and Gamergate 2 as some have labeled it. The Gaming for Everyone team began in 2015 with the stated goal being to bring gaming to everyone on the planet. What we found in the early days of Gaming for Everyone is that people, even internally, got inspired by the idea. Caddy Joe Wright said, and we saw teams who went on and did things that brought it to life, like the Xbox Adaptive Controller, but we wanted to see it consistently across the organization. So my team went on this listening tour inside Xbox to understand what was going on and how people were making it real. That is how we discovered people were inspired by gaming for everyone, but they didn't know how to translate that into their own day to day. It was if I'm not a decision maker determining what hardware we build, how do I make it real? We were like, because our messaging was around how it is up to each of us to make decisions every day to bring this intentionality to include it. It was doing that learning that set us onto another journey to create what is now the Product Inclusion Framework. The Product Inclusion Framework, as the name implies, is a DEI toolkit that Xbox plans to put in the hands of developers across the world in order to insert the message into their games, while Caddy Joe Wright did her best to maintain the appearance that this was completely optional and was just something designed to reach a much larger audience. History would advise us to take every word she said with a massive truckload of salt. The fact that Xbox Game Studios is a client of Sweet Baby Inc. is also reason to press X to doubt. Exactly. They're not, and like this says, they're not developers, they are activists, and that's what they are doing. This is why Xbox is at war with gamers, and why we are at war with them. We started doing this because as developers, we want to get our games played by as many people as possible. It is all about expanding research. The Xbox DI boss continued. While you talk to a developer, do you want to limit how many people play your game? No, that's how we think. Then each developer gets to make the decision for themselves over who they want to expand their players' reach to. This is very, very dangerous because they rather push an agenda than push storytelling components, and also ditch the story, gameplay, and focus about race and all of that. The framework is not a checklist, the Xbox executive would eventually claim. It is not a mandate, even internally is not that at all. It's just a way for you to get your game into the hands of more players in a meaningful way. It's not about opening every door for every type of game, because that can make the game vanilla. It's not about making every game for everyone, it's about making gaming for everybody. Okay. It's about how we can bring that level of intentionality so you as a developer can make the right decisions for your experience. We will connect you to a bunch of different resources so that people are aware and can make an informed decision about their game. When asked about the uprising in the game industry that was sparked by Sweet Baby Inc. attempting to shut down a Steam creator page, her response was as tepid as you would imagine it to be. The more that we can talk about the good that gaming can bring and the impact and give that the energy and the spotlight, she said, yes, there's a threshold where there's harassment, and we need to be very aware of that in terms of safety and making our beliefs clear. There was no harassment. Your guy, the Sweet Baby Inc. employee, Chris Kindred, started that shit because of a curator page warning everybody, hey, this is the company that's consulting with all the games and why everything has gone to crap now. During the interview, she presented a survey that purports that 71% of gamers feel diversity in characters and stories is extremely important to them. The clear majority of players value that, the Xbox senior director claimed, and we just know that to be true as humans. The article does not reveal what survey she pulled this statistic from. It is very possible could have been a survey conducted by a DEI obsessed consultation firm like Sweet Baby Inc. This could be very well because, look, diversity has been in our gaming for over 40 years. It was never forced, it was natural, and nobody bitched about it. However, wherever this came from, and I believe this is probably our answer, I believe it. Because gamers want well written characters in a well written story with a wonderful world and also reach to a satisfying conclusion in that game, whether it would be a good ending or a bad ending. It does not matter. We want to have fun and have a great time and just forget about the world's problems for a little bit and just game with our friends. And also get to know the characters that we are playing as in your game. Not be reminded of the bullshit politics and everything going on in the real world. These people do not get it. The Xbox DEI enforcer would go on to personify everything that is wrong with the game media and the game industry as a whole. Miss Wright used the example of a barely known Xbox Game Pass title called Vamba. Never heard of that one. To show that there is an attempt at reaching a global audience. Even if people don't play it, she said, knowing it's there makes them feel like they belong. This is yet again an example of how out of touch corporate America is. Whoa, hello. How corporate America is with the average gamer who cares little about the ESG funding that is fueling this DEI push in gaming. This DEI director said in an interview is without a doubt the most foreboding. If you don't intentionally include, you will unintentionally exclude, Caddy Joe Wright stated. That is how we are as human beings. There's no shame in that. If you want to include, you have to be intentional about that. This intentional inclusion has led to what is arguably a larger uprising than Gamergate was a decade ago. ideologically possessed companies like Sweet Baby Inc., which has worked hand in hand with Xbox Game Studios, do not seek to simply reach a larger audience. Sweet Baby Inc. and its DEI driven ilk seem to exclude the majority of the gaming industry's customer base and replace them with an imaginary group of people who don't play games. Forced inclusion and diversity have actually created less of both. As a great developer once said, a game for everyone is a game for no one. The more game studios that follow suit abandon the woke messaging and focus on creating great games, the more inclusive things will actually be. DEI initiatives do nothing but destroy any common ground gamers used to share and replace them with racial quotas and Marxist messaging. DEI is the modern day religion, and the church is corporate America. I couldn't have said that better myself. This is the antithesis of intentional inclusion because it's DEI driven. It's really, really bad. And we're seeing a lot more of these companies and forms of entertainment pushing this really toxic, really bad ideology on not just the gamers, but also the developers who have been there for decades, who love the products and who love doing their job, who love making great games. These people are being forced out by being threatened to not go along with this toxic ideology. That's what it really is. It's a toxic ideology. These people want to push really bad racial stuff and Marxist stuff and dump the stuff that made gaming great to begin with. Look at Metroid, look at Mario. Those games are great because they're a lot of fun and they're both storytelling and it's a great adventure. That's what we want. We want to enjoy and still talk about it to this day. But what do you guys think though? Do you think Xbox has completely lost the plot and they really showed their true colors? Let me know in the comments below. Bye guys.